She's running that show. I'm telling you now.
I dated a guy that I met on a over like 40 group, and we were talking about this subject. And he made a comment on the post saying never ever, because he was divorced, but he said never ever if you're a guy, never ever let a woman make more than you, because you will never hear the end of it. You will never hear the end of it he said through your whole relationship. He's like, because women just don't respect you when you aren't
That's
man.
the truth.
That's just how.
Hi everybody, welcome back to our channel. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe to our channel if you enjoyed our content. I've been talked to Kevin Samuels, and we're supposed to be giving our opinion on this, Kara. We'll put the link below of the video if you guys have not seen it. Now, it was a live stream, so it is like a podcast type style. So it's about 2.5 hours long or somewhere around there. So I like long videos. Like, I like them, but some people don't have attention span for it. I get it. But it was pretty good. It was pretty interesting. So we've talked about Kevin Samuels a couple of times before. You guys have asked our opinion on Kevin before. It's really no different here. Only a couple of things that we saw. Oh yeah, I thought it was interesting that Preach left. Preach left in the middle of the thing, but he said that, I guess opposite, that he had to dip out for a minute, had to leave, and he just didn't want to interrupt Kevin while he's talking, but it just seemed a little bit different. I'm speculating, this is not true at all, we don't even know, but it didn't look like Preach really cared too much.
Honestly, it looked like Kevin thought that too.
Kevin,
he's like, what happened to your friend?
What happened to the guy?
He just left.
He just kind of left, so
he never did come back.
Yeah, it seems like Preach didn't really care for him too much. You just kind of tell. Okay, so there was a part in there where he started talking about women and men and the money difference, and he was saying that he talks to a lot of women that are saying they want a man who makes more money than them, or just ambitious or whatever, makes more money than them. And then he was saying, date like a plumber, which, by the way, plumbers make a lot of money. But anyways, he was saying, well, what if you're dating a plumber and then $50,000 a year is what he makes? And he said, and what he always gets is women say, well, no, that's fine. $50,000 a year is fine, as long as he's wanting to, move up, and as long as he's ambitious. Right. They always want the ambition part. I'm like, no, but he was saying no, but he's fine with 50,000. 50,000 is where he's at. He's comfortable with that. He never wants to grow, and that's where it's at. He never wants to grow financially. He feels good with that money. And then he said, still women are still wanting him to make more money, and it's like, you shouldn't be wanting that. And so we were so that part was a little. It was like he was going far, but not far enough. Women that want men to make more money, it's not. And Karen has said this before. It's not the money. It's the mindset. Yeah. That needs to be a t-shirt. It's not the money, it's the mindset. And so we know as women that men who don't want to make more money, because men are money is their thing. Making money is their thing. So numbers are their thing. So when they're too complacent with their money, we know there's something else wrong.
Especially with an ambitious woman. If you're not an ambitious man, she's going to outrank you.
100%.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So if you're an ambitious woman and the guy that you like doesn't want to go any further in his career than what he said, $50,000 a year, then you need to stop dating him, because you're going to resent him and he's going to resent you. People always think that when you start dating that love is everything, and it's not. Really, it's not. Men and women don't view love the same way. Right. Women like the feeling of love, because we're emotional. Right. Men love to them is like loyalty. Yeah. And it's very logical reasons. You know what I mean? And so when you can be loyal to them and you can support them, in their dreams, that means a lot more to them than just hearing "I love you" all the time. You know what I mean? So when women say they want more, when they want a man to make more money, what it is that is the female side of her wanting to be provided for, even if she works, wants to be provided and protected. It's just nature. That's all it is. And the thing about dating men who don't make a lot, it's fine. It's just that when you make more than a man, they usually don't like it either. Right. It's because they want to be the head of house, and everybody knows the person who makes the money is the head of household. They just are.
So,
you know what I mean?
yeah,
And so if a woman makes, this is what's happening. This is what like, just to use these two people as an example, Oprah and Stedman. This is the reason why they're not married. It's because Oprah's a billionaire, he's not. You know what I mean? I'm not saying he doesn't make a good living, but he's just not in her tax bracket, really. You know what I mean? When COVID-19 came out, she put him out.
She put him in the guest house.
She put him in the guest house because she didn't want to catch COVID-19. And she went on national television to talk about this with Gail. And then said, when he came home, he said, "Are you serious?" And she was like, "Yeah, I don't want to get it." And you know why she did that? Because that's her house.
Yeah.
And so at that moment, that's why women need you to make more. It's because as a man, to be kicked out of your own home and put into a guest house, I know they live in a mansion, but to be kicked out of the big house and be put into the small house, and the reason, and you have to do it because it's not your house.
And
it's
did
her
it.
house. He did it.
They've been together for how long?
Right.
Decades. But he knew. He knows. Stedman knows.
Women are more, respect you more.
When you make more money.
When you make more money, when you make clear decisions, when you protect them. And I don't care if a woman's working or not. That's just nature in a woman.
When a woman makes when a woman has a man who's not making a lot of money and he's capped at that and he's like fine with where he's at, it's my belief, and it's been proven many times, that he's not fine with that, because then there's something self-esteem going on with him. Because most men, I would say the vast majority of men would, actually a lot of commenters have said this repeatedly, repetitively in our comment section, that men need to make more money than their woman, right? And I don't take offense. Some women take offense to that, and I don't take offense to that because I understand. And I'm like, it doesn't. I don't want to say that's like I don't want to be harsh, but sometimes when a woman makes a lot more than her husband, she's usually the one that wears the pants in family, and she usually has them by the balls. She's running that show. I'm telling you right now.
I dated a guy that I met on a over like 40 group, and we were talking about this subject. And he made a comment on the post saying never ever, because he was divorced, but he said never ever if you're a guy, never ever let a woman make more than you, because you will never hear the end of it. You will never hear the end of it he said through your whole relationship. He's like, because women just don't respect you when you aren't the man. The truth. That's just how he said, when you're not the man, he's just like, in business, the person that makes the most money is the person that's in charge of the whole thing. Right. So that doesn't change when you come home. The person who's making the most money is the person who makes the big decisions. And if you're a man and you want to make the big decisions, then your wife can't make more than you. Because, if she's giving birth to children and cooking and cleaning and then also making more than you, then she is the head of the house.
Right. She's the head of the house.
You're putting her in a position to be that way. And so I think it is confusing, though. I will say this, that when women talk about women's liberation and they say that we're equal, okay, well then you're right. Because there's going to be a lot of house husbands out of this women's liberation. There'll be a lot of men sitting at home cooking and cleaning and not working because they're trying to reverse the roles. You know what I mean? And
it's an odd dynamic.
And so a lot of women will say, we're equal. I'm just as ambitious as him. It's like, okay. And then, they go on Kevin Samuel's page or his channel, and they go, oh, but you need to make double what I make. You know why? Because that's the woman in her, but she doesn't want to admit that.
That's the problem. She wants to admit,
I like working, but I still want you to make more than me because it makes me feel like a woman when you make more than me.
Right.
That's just all it is. It's nothing more than that, because if you make six figures, you don't need him anyway financially.
Yeah. It's just that there's a part of a woman that just really wants to feel like So whenever a man is just okay with their woman making more money than them, they're usually not okay. So personal example, Karen and I have both been in relationships where we made more money than
the guys we were dating.
Yeah. In our earlier years, I would say in one instance I was actually for a while taking care of him. You were too.
Yeah.
Taking care of a man. So, now, that didn't work out too well.
Yeah.
Because he was not ambitious. And he was not, he wasn't feeling like the man, right? And, it's not that I was belittling him, it's just that we switched the roles. So when I'm making more money, then I am the leader in this situation.
Yeah.
And honestly, I can't help it. I'm paying the bills and I'm doing all of the work. I'm cooking too and all that. So if I'm doing all of that, then you aren't the leader, sir. Right? Now, I learned I didn't get that. And I'm saying back in that time, I did not understand either to care. We did not understand men whatsoever. We did not know that is very troublesome for them, and that it's going to give them kind of like low self-worth. And looking back on it, I can see that he was unhappy with himself, and he needed to make more money to feel like a man. Now, later on in life, I know this person still, and later on in life, he ended up making more money, and he's with somebody where he is the breadwinner, you know, because he knew he takes care of his entire family. So I'm like, it's just not natural for a woman to lead in that way. It's not.
No, but that's what I'm saying. That's the reason why Oprah's not married to Stedman.
It doesn't work.
Because they'll say it's because they don't want to get married, but the truth is they couldn't.
It couldn't get married.
You know what I mean?
How?
Because she is literally the man in that relationship. You know, and you know, like again, when you can kick your partner that you've been out with for years. I mean, you know how many people are quarantining together? She didn't want to quarantine.
She didn't want to quarantine him.
But you know what? She kicked him into the smaller house, and then publicly announced that
they've been together for
you know what I mean.
Forever.
And he, it's important for men to have the head of the house.
So we know as women.
I mean? I think that men. I think what we're talking about, Kevin saying that with Outer and Creed, it was that he was saying that. What was bothering me was that he was just saying that women always want you to make 50% more than they do. I was like, yeah, but you're not going further enough. Yeah, the truth is that men also don't like to be trailing in the financial, because that is what you guys are the providers, that's your role. You know what I mean? And so that's what the world tells you, that is your role. You know what I mean? And so if your wife is now doing her job as a nurturer, and then also doing your job as the main provider, then believe me, that household is not going to be good.
Yeah, because that conversation should not have because what was happening, like Kara was saying, what was happening is that, just saying women want you to make more than them, and they still want that. They want the ambitious man, all that stuff. That's one part of it. I really felt like he should have talked about the other part of it, which is the man side, which I'm surprised he didn't because he's a man. But I'm surprised he didn't. But he said he didn't say the other part, which is men also want to make more money too. Yeah. No strong, assertive, hardworking male is going to want to be making less because they associate money with the success and power, because it is, you know what I mean? Like it's a certain amount of power, it's leadership that comes with the money part, especially in relationships, because you're holding down the whole household. We have roles here, and when you start trying to switch the roles and make the roles equal and all that stuff, it does look weird. It starts getting weird because it's just not natural. I mean, to me, I feel like it's just not natural, which is where all these upsets come from. When people in relationships, they get upset and they're like, the dynamics are all messed up. Yeah,
there are roles in relationships for a reason. Yeah, you know what I mean. I know today we are kind of
it's cloudy. It's
cloudy because it's blurry. Honestly, women are in some other, I mean, it's because like here we have feminists saying I want equality, and then all of a sudden they get in a relationship, but I want you to make more. I want to be equal, but I want you to also be not equal.
The
so I'm saying, like, that's the reason why I don't believe in feminism, because I think that it confuses things. I don't pay for dates. I don't, my husband will make more than me, and the reason why is because I think that is just the circle. Yeah, that's the circle block. That's kind of like how it's meant to be, in my opinion. Men are supposed to be the leaders, and women are supposed to be beta. You're supposed to want to help a man and to become his greatest self. You know what I mean? So that it benefits everybody. Yeah. Everybody's not supposed to be doing the same thing. That's why a lot of households are so unbalanced. Like right now, it's because everybody's working. Nobody's at home. Nobody's cooking. I mean, most women, I was watching this a video the other day on the Manosphere. The lady that I can't ever remember this woman's name, but she's like I think she might be a civil rights person. She wears like the big hats. And so, but anyway, she was saying she talked to a young guy the other day that said he doesn't even know a woman that can cook. And these younger women just don't cook and clean anymore. You know what I mean? And like again, in Cardi B's song, she says that I don't cook, I don't clean, but I still got that ring. And so that's
That's
and
where
so
we're
why
at.
Kevin Samuels telling all these older men to date young women? Well, these are the young women you're going to be getting.
A lot of young women don't want to know how to cook and clean. They don't want to do all that.
You know why they don't want it? Because the way the world is going is telling them they don't have to do nothing for you anymore.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So see where everything gets messed up
when you mess up when you mess up that nature. When you start trying to fiddle around with nature and try to fudge it a little bit and change it up, it can be the smallest thing. But when that happens, it does throw off the dynamic, and then here we go. Like a feminist movement, the women's liberation, and all. I'm like, yeah, but you're resisting a part of yourself. You still are, because even women's liberation, they are sometimes like, I want my man to make more. Yeah, of course you do.
So then stop saying you want to equal. Stop saying you want everything to be equal, because that's just not true.
It's not true. We're not equal.
You want it to be equal when it benefits you, but when it doesn't benefit you anymore, then you want it to be unequal.
Right.
You know what I mean? And so that's just
talking out two sides of your mouth.
That's the problem with the modern woman. But then look, the modern man's starting to get weird too. As you know what I mean? It's just like walking around, you pay one day and I'll pay the next one. You do that. Okay, well now you can't be mad at feminism.
Yeah.
You have to accept that now. You have to accept that you guys are equal. So you can't walk around saying I hate feminists or feminists are annoying. No, if you want her to pay for stuff, then what you're saying is that you also agree.
Yeah, because there was somebody in our comments a while back that said this, that women need to pay for half of the bills of their relationship, or pay for, like Kara said, dates. Half the dates, or pay for the day, whatever it is. I'm like, okay, everybody's different. I'm not even against that. Fine, do what you want to do. But understand, gentlemen out there that are wanting women to pay for, understand that it is now an equal situation.
Yeah.
And so she can wear the pants if she wants to. Look, and I know y'all ain't gonna like that. But when you accept that, when you accept a woman doing that, then what you're saying is that just go the whole way then. Live with the women's libs, be fine with it now. Be fine with women who are feminist. You have to be.
I mean, Kevin Samuels, we watched a video not too long ago where he was talking to a feminist girl, and she was really cute and young, but he got mad at her kind of, and he hung up on her. And she was actually just a sweet girl. You could tell that she wasn't like meaning to be mean, or she wasn't meaning to be the way she was thinking. She wasn't even really being mean. She was just telling her feminist point of view.
She was young feminist.
You know what I mean? And so he just kind of got annoyed with her and then hung up on her. And the thing is, it's like, yeah, Kevin, this is young girls.
This is what they do.
Okay, this is 20-year-olds. Okay, this is why men that date me have been saying they don't like dating 20-year-olds. It's because this is what they've become.
Yeah.
They're not the way 20-year-olds used to be. They go to work. They don't cook anymore. They don't clean. They don't have to do anything but get booty injections and and just look good. That's it. That's all they had. So you have to accept that also. Yeah. If you're going to date these types of women, you know what I mean?
I'm like, Kevin, why are you getting mad?
Like he kind of got mad at her, and I thought to myself,
he's like, what he said,
and she was looking at him like, really? Why? What happened? You know what I mean?
At the end, I think she was really confused, and the reason why she's confused because she's going against nature. I know what her problem was, and she did have a problem, and she doesn't know she does though. She didn't know she didn't realize that being a feminist has some you're going to get some pushback because what you're saying is not aligning to what nature is telling you to do.
Now, I agreed with him. First of all, she doesn't even know what it's like to be oppressed as a woman because she's only 20 so she was raised into feminism. Right. So the wage gap is a myth at this point. Women make just as much as men. You know what I mean? So all of this stuff that we're saying, this is why I look. When women start talking about equal rights and stuff, I'm like, okay, but then understand what that means. Yeah. That means that you have to now pay half the bills. You don't get to tell a man he's make more than you. You know what I mean? You have to accept that.
Men normally, logically, understand that he's more money than he is, and he knows that.
Can't tell me nothing.
You can't tell me nothing.
What are you gonna tell me?
And what am I? And then if we were to get married, who am I submitting to? Why am I submitting to you? I don't get that. I'm making the same amount of money as you are.
Women are mostly, women are mostly attracted to, if not money, ambition. Yeah. Because it's a very masculine quality in a man. When men have dreams and goals and they're actively doing them, that is an attract. Even if you're not where you want to be, that's an attractive quality about you.
When men love what they do.
When men love what they do, that's what I'm saying.
Even if they're not at the pinnacle of their career.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what I mean? But I feel like when he talked about that, he didn't go on the side of men who also don't want your wife to make. Because a lot of men, they are like, oh, I don't want my wife to make more than me. Yeah. Why? Because that puts you in a position to just be equal or puts you in a position to be the beta.
He went far, but he didn't go far enough.
He didn't go far enough.
So
right.
we're going to show you guys like the woman's side of this, like the part where, even the man's side, honestly, where he didn't reach that part. And yes, women want men to make more money than them, 100%. But men want to make more money than women.
And all the men that I've ever dated have said that.
Oh, that's what I'm saying.
They've all said, I would prefer to make the most.
Yeah.
They always say that. You know what I mean? I was just like, I just prefer that.
Yeah.
Look, I know it's confusing these days because we're just on a weird trip right now.
We're on this really weird blurred
trip where, I think it's just kind of strange. It's just like it's not normal.
Okay, so Kevin, we all know, is a big statistics guy. Most men are statistic people, but he's very big on statistics, mostly because his business
is based on that.
Yeah, he helps people based on people. Like, why are you looking at statistics? Yeah, I get annoyed with statistics too because we're not like that. He's
an image consultant.
Yeah, so he has to look at what society's doing. So anyone who's like, oh my God, Kevin's looking at statistics all the time, he's doing that because his business is statistics. Yeah. So he has to be able to place people in that,
most men want this. Most women want that.
It makes sense to me why he's into that. Right. Now, Abba hit him with a statistic about women.
No, he said, Abba said that he looked on his computer and said, okay, so statistically at this moment, most women, I think a little over 50%, most women are making, in their households, are making more than the men that they're living with.
So that's statistically correct.
So I don't think he thought that statistic was coming because then he just leaned on his own understanding. He was like, no, men make more than women. It's just like, okay, well, I just gave you a statistic, but all right. You know what I mean? But Abba didn't push back on it because I think he was just sort of, he kind of looks up to him, you can tell.
Yeah, Abba's like,
you know what I mean? That makes sense. He's a 30-year-old guy, and Kevin's in his 50s, so that's supposed to happen. You know what I mean? But,
Abba's correct. So we did look up the statistics. He's correct. Women are starting to make more money. Anyways, what we do know is definitely going in that direction. Yeah. Right now,
we talk about the wage gap. That's a lie because women do make a little more.
They do.
But I think that was kind of
Kevin got
a little bit rattled on that one. I think that it's because it kind of blows his point of view out of the water as far as women dating average at best men. Because the truth is, according to the statistic, women are dating men they make more than. So you can't say like women don't want women only want these 6-figure guys. Clearly not true.
That's true. They're not.
Clearly, most women that are in relationships are making a little bit more than the men that they're married to or even like just living with.
So he didn't believe that statistic. So that statistic he
just didn't want to. You could tell because that again it kind of blows his kind of theory out of the water. The fact that.
Yeah,
because he's always telling people if you're an average at best woman, you need to date an average at best guy. Right. So it's showing that women do that, right? Or women do, women do date men who just make basic money.
Income.
Because Abba was like, "What do you think about that?" When I tell you that, and then he's just like didn't know what to say, and he was just like, "No, I think men make more."
He said I would have to look at it and all that, and I was like, "Well, no, it's right here.
No, it's right here, but okay,
but okay." That was a little awkward because
I don't think he knew that.
Yeah, because I understand.
I think his statistics are only with 6-figure people, and so he didn't really do work on people who make under that. Yeah, and I think that's where Kevin Samuels sort of falls off because majority of the world, or majority of this country right now falls under 6 figures. Right. So when you talk about people that you're not really servicing, then you get kind of lost in the wilderness. You know what I mean? Yeah. And so
he deals with like upper class. A class of income people, and we had a commenter say something about this too, and I was like, as a male, I think as a man, he was, he's like, Kevin Samuels okay, but it's kind of misleading. I understand that because he can be a bit misleading only because I think he wouldn't be as misleading to people if people would see him differently or understand him a little bit better. If you kind of understand that it's my belief that just hearing what Kevin talks about and all the callers and just the way that he is with people, I believe that he is a guy who is only speaking to that upper tax bracket, that high income people. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, so some of the things that he's saying that you're supposed to be to get this man or get this woman or whatever it is, it's usually the people that he is around. So it's those Ivy League college educated, sorority, fraternity people that are in the same crowd. So when people are thinking that he's misleading, that is probably accurate if you're not in his world.
Yeah.
There's a video we did that we talked about this a little bit, and I was saying in the video, this is what I'm talking about, is that people are looking at Kevin and thinking that he's misleading or he's coming off wrong because they're not really understanding that majority of the time he really is around people like him, which is, allegedly, upper middle class, high income people. And the majority of people that are calling him are usually, they're not really people in that world. So when he says to them, well, do you even know people in this world? So he's there's the disconnect, is that he's talking to people, women mostly, that are not even associated with the people in the world that he's trying to connect with. So it gets kind of weird there.
Yeah, and also I thought it was kind of odd that when he talked about high value, he called celebrities are not high value, and neither are people who are successful but under 30.
Yeah.
So I thought, what? You know what I mean? Like, that was completely odd to me. Like he said, celebrities are not high value.
He takes them out. Athletes too.
And successful people under 30 aren't either.
So athletes, celebrities, and all the... So he said he takes them... This is just his way of doing things. But he said he takes them out of the mix altogether. Probably because... I'm sure it's probably because they're like these less than 1%ers. These lottery picks. These people are they won the lottery with their jobs, right? When you become, when you sign a $20 million contract because you're a football player or a Major League Baseball player, whatever, basketball, you're not... It wouldn't make sense to put in his world. It wouldn't make sense to put you in the mix. But I feel like anybody who's successful, no matter how you got success, you're in the mix.
Everybody isn't going to go to college, and everybody who is successful didn't go to college.
It's true.
You know what I mean? There are plenty of people who graduated from high school, became very successful, and they got college people working for them.
Right. It's true.
You know what I mean? So I didn't understand why he said that. I thought that was shade. Yeah. It's like, really, you're going to shade people who really worked hard to get where they want? You tell one of these famous people who really had to pound the pavement to become an actor, because that they aren't successful simply because you're trying to say they didn't work hard enough. That's some BS right there.
Well,
anybody who's an actor will tell you how hard it is to be an actor. I have friends in New York that were actors, and believe me, it's hard to just get commercials.
Auditions,
you know what I mean?
Period.
And to tell people to say that people who are famous don't deserve to be called high value simply because they're I just thought it was kind of weird.
Even like with athletes, like cause in Indianapolis we have the NFL Combine here, right? So and these are the NFL hopefuls and all that, right? So we get a lot of them stay at the hotel while they're until their time to go to and try out, right? So what they tell me, like, their story of being an athlete, football. I would say football announcer talking about them. And when I hear these their story of they were in like Little League, and they were like 5 and 6 and 15 and then 18, and then the journey and the wear and tear on their body to get to that point, the mental capacity that it takes as an athlete. And I hear that. And I hear their stories. I see what the struggle of them to get to that point, to even go for anybody to even look at them at an NFL Combine, right? To hear their stories and all that, and look at their stats and everything. It's just like, wow. And then they made it to the NFL. I've had a couple of people have made it to the NFL that I know. And it was not an overnight success. These people have struggled for years, and they are going to have to retire early because their body can't take certain things. So it's like, I didn't really like that either. You got the gist of
one of the reasons I do like Kevin Samuels is one of the reasons why I really like him is that he brings up a conversation.
Yes.
And so 100%. I can even if you don't agree with him, you have to agree that things are different, and that he is bringing up a lot of valid, because people get on us because they think that we don't take up for women enough. And the thing is, it's like, no, look, I'm an old school type of woman, you know what I mean? And no, I think women used to be the cooks in the family. We were in charge of nutrition, and we were in charge of making sure kids got off to school. And there was a time when that was a very important job for women. And I still think that is the most important, one of the most important jobs. You know, just as like you said,
taking care of family
or being a CEO is still a very important job. And I think so many people or so many women forget that.
It's just, I like hearing other people's ideas, and I feel like Kevin is bringing up a conversation that needs to be had. I do think that these women that call into his show, a lot of them really, and the woman in them does want to hear the advice, because women naturally want to have a leader of a man. Naturally they do, whether you like it or not. And so if we get any pushback from like women and stuff that we're not hard enough on Kevin Samuels, well, the problem is that it's not that we're like, not that we're not being hard enough. It's not about that. It's just that we think that us bringing up the nature of a woman and the dynamics of men and women together naturally, what you're feeling naturally and what you're resisting is what's the problem. And I think it's what's happening with women that call into a show, is that they're resisting a part of them that's natural, which is why they're finding the conflict is happening there. So yeah, let us know what you think. Did you guys see the video? If not, I'm gonna put the link below of that video if you guys want to look at it. Really good conversation. Let us know what you think about it. A lot of good points there. So, and let us know what you think about what we said today about it. And that's it. Subscribe. All right, guys. Thanks for watching. See you next week. Bye.